Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Hello. And I'm not reading from my phone tonight, actually. I'm reading from print. This used to be high gloss, but before it's been beat to hell because I was so excited to be showing people my byline in it. This is a glossy Aussie magazine called DNA. It's you can get it at one of these bookstores. I call it Glossy Aussie because it's based in Australia, and it's a pretty good periodical, but it costs like $15 in the States. But anyway, they sent it to me for free because I wrote for it. So thank you. So yeah, this is called Too Much Information. This appeared about a year ago. It's called Once Upon a Tenderloin, a hookup goes belly up. Who would have known that hookup on Adam for Adam would leave me wandering out of bounds? I just returned from a Trick's house that didn't transpire the way I intended at all. There's been a culture clash going on in my San Francisco neighborhood ever since Mayor Ed Lee gave tax breaks for Twitter to move into the mid-market area. An influx of clueless techies have been invading my Tenderloin turf ever since. I'm a proud longtime resident of the TL, which has maintained a reputation so loathsome as to prompt hotels such as the Hilton to warn tourists against wandering across its borders. I met Condoms Are Boring, the tag from Adam for Adam, at his immaculate high-rise flat that featured a sweeping panoramic view of the gas station across the street. The building was smart-wired with digital community message boards, while the finished concrete floors glistened in the soft recessed lighting. They had torn down an all-night diner to throw this building up like an Amish barn raising. The greasy spoon that was now gone had been the only place you could get a milkshake at 3 a.m. But my mind snapped back to the present when I was greeted by my host, who opened the door in a towel. Or was that a sarong? Brian was a 28-year-old fireplug mesomorph with a tight little ass. Based on his cautious list of questions posed in our cat and mouse chase online, I figured something might go awry. I should have realized that. Before committing to hooking up, he wanted to know A, if I bathed recently, B, what drugs I did, the way I did them, and if I had any of my own. The latter questions were posed like he was playing a chess game. One wrong answer on my part could be a potential deal breaker, so I tried to watch what I said and tried not to sound too snippy in my retort. He was trying to find out basically if I shot or smoked crystal meth, but would it come out and ask me directly? So the time has that, oh great, another lightweight, I thought to myself, because I preferred to party hardcore and get right to the point, you know, with needles. But I was willing to pretend that I only blew clouds in order to get freaky with him. So when he saw the number 5150, he asked about the number 5150 emblazoned in stencil on my biceps. I have a tattoo of it. I said, oh, you don't know? He shook his head cluelessly. I said, well, it's a California penal code for being a danger to yourself or to others. You've obviously never been institutionalized in a psych ward. He goes, hey, what are those? He said as he was like running his hand over the slash and track marks on my arms. I said, well, I used to cut. See, that was kind of like a coping mechanism, I guess. It's kind of a phase, you know what I mean? And anyway, so then I took out my shirt and he saw this vertical scar that runs from like just under my chest to my navel. So I volunteered the truth with no regard for TMI. Well, see, I used to have this kind of like body dysmorphia issue. I was kind of like an eating disorder, you know. So anyway, that scars I had is from the surgery I got when I got gangrene from like not eating. Anyway, so his eyes averted to something around across the room, and I sensed a shift in the climate. Well, anyway, I figured this was as good a time as any to break the news that although I was ordinarily a versatile flip-flopper, I wouldn't be able to bottom for him tonight because I just had surgery the week prior. There, he asked? Yeah, there, I said as I slapped my ass in exclamation. He mercifully didn't ask for details, and I refrained from elaborating. I shuddered to imagine what he would think of me if he knew the truth. The deal was, I'd just undergone anal dysplasia surgery to remove high-grade precancerous lesions that were a result of catching HPV, aka condyloma acuminata. That sounds so much more glamorous than anal warts, which is what I caught 7 years prior, see. I remember how horrified I was when faced with that little bit of news at the STD clinic. They wouldn't be so easy to cure as chlamydia or gonorrhea, both of which I just experienced as a result of a whirlwind affair / sling / obsession with the first guy I met after I serial committed HIV. Anyway, so from Easter to the 4th of July 2007, I graduated from being smitten to stalker, slashing his tires, before falling into an old habit of slicing my wrists up with razor blades in order to qualify the pain. To say that situation and subsequent wreckage was the worst emotional fuckwitch I had ever... All the lovelorn Romeos I had ever pined over couldn't hold a candle to the one that ultimately burned me. But that had happened a very long time ago, and I was more concerned at the moment with the prospect of getting through the next 3 months without making myself available to be fucked. Because my blocking papers from UCSF Hospital had clearly stipulated I wasn't to engage in anal intercourse, or receptive anal intercourse, for at least 90 days. The news was fresh, but I had already begun resigning myself to its reality and was actually getting used to the idea of IAI, or strictly inserted anal intercourse, i.e. being a top. I had been at bottom longer than I had been versatile because I didn't start getting appreciated for my dick until I was growing out of the chicken coop, if you know what I mean. I was used to being pigeonholed, no pun intended, up to the Twinkie bottom up to then. But once I realized I had a commodity that could really work to my advantage in the gay sexual marketplace, being versatile was the way to go. So anyway, my prowess for all its merits was evidently lost on my current companion, judging from the way he mechanically turned his attention back to the laptop already tuned to Adam for Adam and what looked like a bunch of Camp 4 windows. Well, that sucks, he said. I wanted to fuck. Well, yeah, I'll fuck you, I said, trying to keep the exasperated duh tone out of my voice. So I settled back in the living room pool and appreciated the opportunity to jack off to his vast collection of porn, all of which were genres and studios I had never seen. Suddenly, my meager, threadbare little efficiency of the tenderloin didn't seem all that special. Perhaps it was my impending 40th birthday that sat on the calendar like an anvil and hallmark on my quarter-life crisis. I harkened back to all my previous life crises, all the while stroking. Help yourself to the cock rings, he offered, pulling out a plethora of various materials and sizes. Leather snap-ups were lined with an assortment of leather cushies and stainless steel CBT devices. Embarrassed, I pumped a squirt of his expensive Swiss Navy lube and lost myself in the task at hand, so to speak. I had a full view of the back of his head, an earful of his biographical sketch. It's almost over. He regaled me with a story that outlined a Mormon missionary boy from Salt Lake City. The nubile, tight-ass little Latter-day Saint wasn't exhibiting his best preferred trait, in my opinion. He adopted the alternate meaning of the descriptor tight-ass that has nil to do with his proclivities in the sack. He regaled me with the, have you seen Book of Mormon? I asked. So my attention was like half focused on his monologue until it meandered into Mormon matters. And I started singing. Andrew Reynolds is so hot. Anyway, my longtime crush on the Broadway actor and co-star of the defunct normal sitcom overtook me. Hello, my name is Elder Price, and I would like to share with you this most amazing book. I harmonized. I haven't seen it, he continued. Have you heard about the All-American Prophet? And God said, Joe, what people really want to know. I haven't seen it, he interrupted. It is, anyway. Oh, Elizabeth Smart. I shared my great collection of that blonde angelic harpist who was kidnapped by the freaky family handyman and then forced to amble around Salt Lake City with a shell-shocked wife for 90 days. Remember that? Anyway, that happened in 2002. So this is one on. And then so I said, what do you say you do for a living? And so then he launched into this sob story about he was this close to walking out of eBay until he paid him what he was worth. So realizing I was laid out in the lair of techie scum, my dick instantly went south. Isn't that in the South Bay? I asked. How do you get to work? Well, my car. What else? You think I take Caltrain? He laughed. He laughed. Did he think it was funny that his techie scum, consumer, and carbon footprint was guzzling gas and ruining the physical environment as well as the cultural integrity of my neighborhood, the entire city of San Francisco? I got a jet, I said as I peeled off the cushy cock ring and doused it with hand sanitizer. I told him to add me as a friend on Facebook and pecked him on the lips. I could smell the minty fresh scent emanating from his lips that snapped to bird speeds. I wondered if I had ever been that high maintenance. I knew I'd always pushed the envelope to left and center into the margins. I was decidedly unapologetically